So as is a custom for me, I've filmed this like 5 times. Each time realized I was basically rambling to an extent that I'm not okay with, and then decided to refilm it, only to realize I rambled just as much. So, I don't think smartwatches are a good idea in the first place. I don't think that we should be very liberal with what is acceptable for smartwatch usage. I don't want to be trying to have a conversation with someone while they're constantly seeing that user nerdy and quirky is replying to them or favoriting their tweet or something. I don't wanna be trying to console my friend and have my watch be tingling, telling me that, someone liked my status. Thankfully, Facebook doesn't do that. But I don't like where I stand with the internet. I don't like how dependent I am on social media and the like. And I want to believe that other people aren't alright with it as well. I want to believe that other people also kind of feel this emptiness in social media. This, isn't it better than, can't there be better than this? But I don't know if other people do, and I don't know if that's because I'm using social media wrong, or I have particularly enjoyable people who I spend time with, or I don't know other people's lives, and I don't frankly even understand the dynamics of my own. So I don't want to seem overly judgmental, but I wouldn't want a smartwatch because I don't want anything that'll bring me even further away from real life. As it is, I despise the fact that I'm so distanced from it. I spend my nights sitting at home, alone in my bedroom, sometimes interacting, sometimes doing work, sometimes entertaining myself, playing video games or Netflix or something like that. And it's fun, and I enjoy it, but is that really like an ideal state to be in? I always find myself envying my parents, their childhood. It seems so fun. They're always telling me about like all these mischievous things that they did, or even if it's not mischievous, like these fun things they did. That may have violated like some health restrictions that we now know, but that were fun nonetheless. Like going outside and like, I don't know if this is something that actually happened to my parents, but I can't remember. Like mud fights, throwing mud, and hey, someone gets hit in the head with a rock instead, and that sucks, but that's an interesting story. Or this one guy was telling me how one of his friends got hit in the forehead with a BB or something, and it got lodged in his forehead, and that's awful, but it's still cool. Like, my childhood was a lot of playing make-believe, like in my parents' instances, but then the moment I started using technology, it flatlined. It wasn't a bunch of interesting things. It wasn't me imagining. In some instances, it was me creating, like movies and stuff. But I really regret not having a more outdoor, relaxed childhood. And I think that I also regret not having like the same level of camaraderie with local people that I always hear about from like a couple decades ago. I mean, I had that to an extent, but I'm getting a bit on a tangent, but it's to make the point that I feel like while it's not completely better, I kind of want to live before technology like this existed. I wish I could keep the internet as an educational and like work tool and get rid of it as a leisure tool, because it really messes with me. I don't have a lot of self-discipline, so it just consumes me. So a watch that tells me more ways to stop paying attention to the world around me would be devastating, because a phone that tells me to stop paying attention to the world is also destructive to my daily life. I have to leave my phone at home when I go on a walk for my mind to do anything interesting. Because if I go for a walk, I'm going to want to listen to music, and if I'm listening to music, I'm not thinking my own thoughts. I'm thinking thoughts based on the music. And I mean, there's a time and place for that, but or I'm trying to interact on some social media, and that's not why I want to be alone. I want to be alone. And I think all this pulling us away from ourselves and away from the world is not necessarily where we want to be going. Not where I want to be going, for sure. I can't speak for anyone else. But there's this, I may have said this before, I've done several takes, and I don't know what I've said and what I haven't. There's kind of a burden that comes with the technology around me. And I feel like I'm missing out on what could be better, or worse, but real. I feel like I'm missing out on what's real, and I regret that, and I feel like I'm wasting away my youth on things that really have no value, and that really just blend together in some blur of nothingness. So I guess this is a massive tangent. In other words, I don't like the idea of smartwatches. I mean, the Apple one is ugly, in my opinion. But the concept alone, I don't want one. I don't want something that'll pull me in more. I barely want my iPhone. I mean, I seriously am considering swapping it out for my old phone, like flip phone, but that has a full keyboard. Like enough to do functional text messaging, but not something that is so alluring that I want to leave the world around me for it. Man, I don't like it. I don't like this. I don't like my productivity being hurt like this. I don't like my idea of a fun night being sitting at home and watching shows alone. I don't like that. But this is a tangent. I don't want a smartwatch. I think that it'll make it really hard for people to pay attention to the world around them. I don't want to be talking to someone and they aren't paying attention to me. I don't want to be the person not paying attention to someone else. And I don't know, man. Smartphones are already big enough a problem that families feel the need to make everyone put theirs like on the table and pile them up just so they can even begin to communicate. I mean, at dinner today, I was talking and I'm like, oh wait, my dad's not paying any attention. He's on his phone. It's too tempting, I think, to interact with the more interesting but less real world. And maybe that's better. Maybe the more interesting world is better. I think that's possible. But I think I'd prefer the more boring, tangible world where I can learn the way that, like, the physical, I don't know. And the online is great, and I love it. And again, I don't know if I said this in this take, but I would never want to get rid of the academic and like intellectual functions of the internet. But frankly, if we could just delete Twitter and Facebook, I would be alright with that. But I don't have the guts, I don't have the self-discipline to delete them, my accounts, and I don't have the discipline to get them off of my phone, and I sure as heck wouldn't have the discipline to get them off of my watch. So I can't get a watch. And I don't think it's in people's relationships' best interest to get a watch. Because if you need to respond 5 minutes later, that's alright, I think. I think person-to-person communication is so important that you shouldn't sacrifice it for potentially insignificant communication online. And even if it is significant, again, it's 5 minutes. Unless you're a nurse, or not a nurse, but like an on-call doctor, or someone whose profession or family status makes it so emergencies are a common thing, you don't need that level of being called upon. I don't want to get pulled in that much.